pros and cons to the Baylor versus Kansas State football game. I'm going to get rid of all the cons first so I can focus on the positives, and then I'm going to read a quote from Caitlin Bickle, a Baylor women's basketball player that's a graduate student, what she had to say. It's gold. The cons for the game: 3 points scored on offense, 17 first downs on offense, 4 for 12 on third down, 0 for 3 on fourth down, 306 yards of offense, 23 rushing attempts for 103 yards as a whole. Blake Shapen had 22 completions out of 38 attempts for 203 yards and 2 interceptions. That first pass was way too high. The other one, it was garbage time interception, and it was tipped. The defense allowed 31 points. The defense allowed 30 first downs. The defense allowed 405 yards. The defense allowed 44 rushing attempts for 184 yards, which Deuce Vaughn had 25 rushing attempts for 106 yards and 8 receptions for 50 yards with 1 touchdown. Ben Sonnett, who is a tight end for Kansas State, had 7 receptions for 50 yards with 1 touchdown. Had 7 receptions for 89 yards with 2 touchdowns. A tight end really beat you a lot in this game. The wide receivers really didn't do anything. It's the tight end and Deuce Vaughn that did most of the damage for them last night. The defense was 8 for 13 on third down. No turnovers forced by the Baylor defense. The defense only had 1 sack in the game. Yet there was a lot of quarterback hurries, which I'll go over in a minute. Jordan Abers had a 6-yard kickoff return in this game. 6 penalties for 51 yards. Kansas State dominated time possession easily. 37 minutes, 37 seconds to 22 minutes, 23 seconds. That, to me, you can't allow that to happen. You just can't. Now, for the pros for the game, which there's not a lot of them. Richard Reese had 9 rushing attempts for 54 yards. Josh Cameron had a great game, 6 receptions for 83 yards. Monterey Baldwin had 8 receptions for 75 yards. Yes, there were some drops by the wide receivers, and it didn't help either. Trust me. I know. Well, the defense didn't get burned by the wide receivers as much in this game, which is a good thing. But the problem is you allow the tight end Deuce Vaughn to beat you a lot. And overall from the game, they only allowed, which is only one of the other positives about the defense, 221 passing yards. So it's not like they beat us squarely through the air a lot. It's just a combination of the tight end and Deuce Vaughn that did a lot of damage. The defense had 6 quarterback hurries in the game and 3 pass breakups. Those quarterback hurries, if we were there 1 more second sooner, we could have had sacks. More than 1 sack in a game. I mean, I forgot to mention this, but on offense, they didn't allow they didn't allow a single sack in the game and only 1 tackle for loss. I believe. I'm going to go back and check on that stat. I'm going to. Yeah, like the offensive line had no sacks allowed, any sacks in the game, and 1 tackle for loss. So that's not bad at all. And the defense had 5 tackles for loss. Yeah, the defense have 5 tackles for loss in the game, which I wish there was more in the game, to be honest. The defense was 1 for 2 on fourth down, which I wish it was 0 for 2, of course, but still. Isaac Power had 3 punts for 127 yards. The long was 56 yards. John Mayer made a 57-yard field goal. Noah Ruschenberg had 1 kickoff in the game. That was a touchback. That's pretty much it for him. Special teams only allowed 13 yards to Kansas State. I mean, that's not a lot of yards right there. There was no special teams blunders like a blocked extra point, a blocked field goal. You're missing a field goal, it got blocked, or anything like that. There was no, or fumbling the ball, period, on special teams, as well as, try to think, one other thing. But you know what I mean. All those special teams blunders that have cost us games in the past prior to this game. So, and there was no injuries that kept the players out of the game once they were injured. Like Apu Aiko came back in. So, that's huge news right there. As for Caitlin Bickle's quote, it's really, really good. She said, "Tough loss, huge learning opportunity, and I'm betting it'll be a week of refocus and on to the next game attitude for the team. I suggest that the fans will do the same. Let's sick TCU. Hashtag sick 'em." I concur with her on this. So, I'm not going to dwell on the game anymore after this video, because there's no need to continually bash the team like this, when I know the players and coaches are very, very frustrated on what happened last night. And they're going to try to do everything in their power to get better from this loss and use that as motivation going to the next game for senior night and a chance to get TCU out of college football playoff potentially, because they're 10-0 right now. And not only that, remember a year ago against TCU when they fired their head coach Gary Patterson, they beat us unexpectedly. And that kept us out of college football playoff last year. So we have motivation to come back and play a lot better next week. So let's just take the chill pill and don't say anything on social media anymore about the game, and just focus on the next one. And that's what I'm going to do. After this, no more talk about that game, because I know the prior 3 games, they were much better. So, I'll go do a preview of the TCU game later on this week, or within the next few days, on what they need to do to win, and who players are keeping an eye on and everything. Anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys later. It's going to be 400 subscribers and more by the end of this year, or sometime in the future.